Hello friends, Kevin here, your Sacramento, Stockton area realtor and lender, here with this week's weekly real estate report. Well, there's a lot going on, and I've been talking about my predictions the last couple of weeks. So let's go over to the chart and take a look and see if my predictions are coming true. All right, so looking at the chart, the thing that I have been watching very closely right here is the fact that we have plateaued with our median list price, and it has been slowly working down. That is the list price. But what is happening to the sales price? And it is going up, up, up. And I've been saying for a while now that I anticipate that it should turn around and start going down based upon the numbers here. But I've also pointed out that this is the list price, what homes are listed for median this week, right now. And this is what homes have sold for this week right now. But these homes went into contract about 30 to 45 days ago. So what that means is that these numbers right here should lag by about 30 to 45 days. So if we go back and we take a look at when did we peak out? We peaked out right about almost exactly a month ago. So August 3rd. And so give it 1 month past then, and we should see that home prices started to fall. So we should see a correlation about a month later. Well, here we are over a month later. Of course, we want to go down a week and say, okay, well, we can say that it was August 10th. Well, we're pretty much right there about 30 days later, and we are higher. So why is it higher? Well, first of all, it's higher because we really haven't hit much of that 30-day point yet. You got to give it just a little bit of time, maybe 1 week later. But more importantly, and this will bring me to something else, is the fact that this point of reporting data that shows that it went up, that the median sales price went up yet again from 565 last week to 576 this week. This data point only represents, looking down here, 228 homes sold. 228 homes sold last week out of 4 huge counties. That is a very, very low number. Like I always say, though, that number is going to increase as agents who are a little bit lazy getting the sales put in that happened this week, they'll eventually get around to it. You'd be surprised. Sometimes I'll act as a buyer's agent on a home, and a month later I'm calling the agent going, are you ever going to change that thing to sold? Because people are still driving by my client's house and wanting to look in the windows, thinking it's available. So agents are a little slow. But I will also say that if you look right here, sales went way down. If I went back through time and I look at large dips, I'm actually going to find out that pretty much Labor Day weekend represents a very low point in sales. So, and it wasn't hard to do. So you can just go down here, look for a very low point, and you can find, low point right about the first week in September. Low point, first week in September. Low point, another low point. Okay, here we go, low point. Yeah, I found it. Second week in September. So that is historically normal to see that. So I still say that prices are going to turn around and we're going to start to see that fall off. However, I don't know if it's a however. Really, we look down here at the available inventory. It is really leveled out and it's going to start going down. So last week we had 3,300 homes on the market. This week, 3,270 homes on the market. And we're starting to see that decline. So the question would be, well, is that normal? Should this still climb? What happens? Where is the peak? Well, we can just go through and start finding the historic peak. Well, the historic peak is right there. Last year, it happened right near the end or middle of August. We can come back over here. When did it happen? Well, October, it started to fall down, but it certainly hit a peak right about the middle of August. So come back over here. What happened? Oh, that was COVID, so never mind that. So come back a little bit more. Oh, right about the middle of September, we saw a huge fall off. Come back even another year, held off until end of October and then fell off. So it's getting just to be that time of year when that's going to be somewhat normal. So that's going to be interesting. So inventory is going to go down. That's almost a given at this point. But buyers are going to stop buying as it starts to get colder and the weather starts turning and getting into the school year, Christmas season. So that generally has an effect on home prices. People have to lower their price to get people attract more buyers. So one thing I always tell my buyers, they always say, "God, we want a great deal, Kevin." It's funny. Sometimes they'll call and just say, "Do you do foreclosed homes?" Yes. Why do you ask? And like, well, we want a good deal. And I haven't said this in a long time, but I've always been of the opinion foreclosed homes are not necessarily a good deal. And you should agree with this fact. If you think about banks, the one thing banks are generally speaking pretty good at doing is making money. Not always, historically speaking, we have seen that. But for the most part, banks pretty good at getting money, and they have systems in place where they get top dollar for these nasty foreclosed homes. So I've never really believed that foreclosed homes are the way to go. I've always said short sales are a much better opportunity. However, I also always say that regardless of short sale, regular sale, foreclosed home, your best buying time is when the weather turns cold, rainy, foggy, and nasty. That is your best deal as a buyer. That is not the time to put your house on the market as a seller. Having said that, that is the data that I have for this week, except for, I forgot about rates. We got to talk about rates. Maybe we shouldn't have. Well, I guess no news is good news. I don't know. So going back about 2 weeks ago, rates were at 7.23%. Last week, they dropped a little tiny bit to 7.18. This week, they dropped a little tiny bit to 7.12. But again, it's over 7, and the data on what points people are paying is being hidden at this point. So people could be paying more points to get that. It's just what the average rate is now. So anyway, that is the news I have for this week. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you here next week, I hope. Take care. Bye.